Alright folks, let's talk about the Union Budget 2025. This is one of the most anticipated events of the year, and it affects every single one of us. Think of it like your family budget, but on a massive scale. Just like you plan for groceries, rent, and savings, the government plans for the entire country's needs. It's the government's plan for how it's going to spend your hard-earned tax money. From infrastructure to social programs, every rupee is accounted for. And trust me, where they spend it matters. The decisions made here can impact your daily life in more ways than you might think. This budget impacts everything from the roads you drive on to the hospitals you visit. It even affects the quality of education your children receive. So, buckle up, because we're about to break down the highlights. We'll make sense of all the numbers and policies. So, what's the big deal with this budget anyway? Why should you care about it? Well, it gives us a sneak peek into the government's priorities. Are they focusing on long-term growth or short-term gains? Are they focused on boosting the economy? Are there new policies to encourage business and innovation, investing in education and healthcare? These sectors are crucial for the country's development, or maybe just trying to win the next election? We'll find out. Political motives often play a big role in budget decisions. The budget is a massive document filled with jargon that would make your head spin. It's easy to get lost in the details. But don't worry, I'm here to translate it into plain English. We'll break it down into bite-sized pieces. We'll cover everything from tax changes to infrastructure projects and how they might affect you. Whether you're a business owner or a student, this budget has something for you. By the end of this, you'll be dropping budget knowledge like a pro at your next chai break. Let's do this. Get ready to dive deep into the Union Budget 2025. Let's start with everyone's favorite topic, taxes. Yes, I know it's not the most exciting subject, but bear with me. The good news is, this budget brings some relief for most taxpayers. Finally, something to smile about when it comes to taxes. The government sweetened the deal on the new tax regime, making it more appealing for the average citizen. Now if you earn up to 12 lakh rupees a year, you pay zero income tax. That's right, zero. Yes, you heard that right, zero. It's a huge win for many middle-class families, but hold your horses, there's a catch because there always is. It's not as straightforward as it seems. This only applies to your income after all those deductions, so make sure you have your paperwork in order, and it doesn't include any fancy stuff like capital gains, so if you're an investor, keep that in mind. Still, it's a pretty sweet deal for a lot of people. Many will find themselves with more disposable income. The government's also giving some love to senior citizens. They haven't been forgotten in this budget. They've raised the TDS threshold on interest income, meaning our elders can keep more of their hard-earned savings. It's a thoughtful gesture. And for those of you renting out property, good news, there's something in it for you too. The TDS threshold for rental income has also been bumped up. More money in your pocket if you're a landlord. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, if the government's cutting taxes, how are they going to pay for all the stuff we need? Good question. It's a bit of a balancing act. The government's hoping that by putting more money in people's pockets, they'll spend it, which will boost the economy and ultimately lead to more tax revenue. They're also planning to raise money through other means, like dividends from public sector companies and asset monetization, which is just a fancy way of saying selling government stuff. The goal is to keep the fiscal deficit in check. That's basically the difference between what the government spends and what it earns. They're aiming to bring it down to 4.4% of GDP, which is still a lot, but hey, at least they're trying. Section 4, Sector Spotlight, who's getting the love? Okay, so we've talked taxes and spending, but what about the actual stuff the government's spending on? Where is all this money going and which sectors are getting the most attention? Let's look at some key sectors that are set to benefit the most from the latest budget. Insurance is getting a boost, with the government allowing 100% foreign investment in companies that reinvest their premiums in India. This is expected to bring in more capital and create more jobs. They're also pumping money into nuclear power, aiming for a cleaner energy future. This investment is crucial for reducing our carbon footprint and ensuring sustainable energy. And for all the gig workers out there, the government's finally recognizing your hustle. This sector is growing rapidly and needs support. You're getting identity cards and access to healthcare, which is a huge step forward. This will provide much-needed security and benefits. Other sectors getting some love include manufacturing, especially toys, footwear, and leather. These industries are vital for exports and employment. Space technology with the National Geospatial Mission is also a focus, aiming to boost our capabilities in this high-tech field. The government's planning to spend a whopping 10 lakh crore rupees on new infrastructure projects over the next 5 years. This is a massive investment. Think roads, railways, airports, the whole shebang. This will transform the country's connectivity and boost economic growth. Section 5, Bihar, Northeast and beyond, sharing the pie. Now let's talk about how this budget affects specific regions. Bihar, often overlooked, is getting some much-needed attention. The government's setting up a Makana board to boost the production and marketing of foxnuts, a key crop in the state. They're also investing in irrigation projects to help farmers and expanding IIT Patna to create more opportunities for young people. The Northeast is also getting some love, with a new urea plant being set up in Assam. This will not only boost agricultural output but also create jobs in the region. Overall, the budget aims to spread the wealth, with a focus on developing underserved regions and creating a more inclusive economy. Whether they can actually pull it off, well, that's a whole other story.